So we are doing chapter 3, the Bhagavadgita, verse 41. Therefore, Arjun, you must first control your senses and then kill the evil thing which obstructs jnana, that is knowledge of the absolute or nirgun Brahma, and vijnana, that is knowledge of the sakar Brahma and the manifest divinity. Shri Krishna is advising Arjuna. He is saying, first and foremost, do not get into the world of desire. The moment you express a desire, you are creating a very big loop in the system. This loop can never be sorted out in one lifetime. You have to sort it out in multiple lives. So you sanction yourself n number of lifetimes just because of that one desire of yours. Let us say there are young people in India and they look at somebody. When they look at that person, they want to get married to this person, they want to settle down with that person. You know, in India we have this movie going on just now. And there is a very handsome hero. This hero's name is Prabhas. Now all the young women of India feel very much attracted towards this person. There was a time when Julia Roberts and all these people, young people, used to get attracted to. Aishwarya Rais of this world, people were attracted to them. It is a desire. Now think about it. How many people will get that person? One. So what happens to the rest of them? So they have created a world of desire. So millions of people, think about it, millions of people created the desire. If the millions of people have created the desire, we have the 8 people, the sages, they keep on saying, Tathastu, let it be, let it be, let it be. So now these million people who have wished for that one person will have to get that one person. Can million people get them in one life? No. So everybody will be born again and again, million times. Think about this. This is a complex situation. The desire has created a grand loop in the system. So, first control the senses. Do not allow the senses to roam about. Keep your eyes to yourself. You don't have to become a voyeur, keeping on looking here and there and here and there. There is no need for you. Second, can you shut your ears to all the nonsense that happens around you? So you hear somebody talking, arguing, fighting, this, that. Why are you interested in that? Even if you smell something nice, why are you interested in that object? You taste something nice, why do you want to own that object and use it? It's not important. So these are the things. Some things are good for touch. So controlling the senses is primary importance. So Arjuna, please control your senses. If you control the senses, the desires will not arise. So control your senses. So when you control the senses, then kill the evil thing which obstructs the jnana. What is the evil thing that obstructs jnana? Knowledge. 2 kinds of knowledge are there. I will not explain both the knowledges right now, but just for understanding purpose, I will tell you. One is the knowledge of unmanifest, and the second one is the knowledge of the manifest divinity. We have done manifest and unmanifest divinity in chapter 2. Alright? So this knowledge which is manifest and knowledge which is unmanifest, simply put, Brahmanyana on one side and the jnana of Shri Krishna. Krishna's jnana is manifest jnana. The Vijnana it is called. Vijnana, higher knowledge. It is not easy to know Krishna. You may think you know Shri Krishna very well. No, you cannot. That is why it is called Vijnana. So, the first one is the jnana. So, the evil which covers both these things, the evil which covers the lower knowledge and the higher knowledge is called the desire. Any desire of any kind is going to destroy both these things. One, you won't get Brahmanyan. That means realization is gone out of the window. No self-knowledge, no knowledge whatsoever. And second one is called the Sakar Brahma, which means manifest deity called Shri Krishna himself. How will you know Shri Krishna if you have desires in your mind? Owning Krishna is also a desire. Please understand this. There is a very beautiful story which I will tell you about ownership of Krishna. Shri Krishna is the highest Lord in this world. It's called the Supreme Divine Consciousness. Now, it so happens that he has a second wife. The first wife is different. The second wife is different, Rukmini. And the second wife is Satyabhama. Now, Satyabhama is very possessive of Sri Krishna. I want him at all points in time. I want him. I want to own Sri Krishna. Because of this ownership dream, one day she has to sell him. They do what is called as a tulabharna. Tulabharna means they keep a scale. You know scales, no? Where you weigh on one side in the market, supermarket you go, you put weights on one side, on the second side you put the items. So when they becomes equal weight, it will be steady like this. If it is less weight of the object, then it will be like this. So it's like that. The weights, the 1 kg, half kg, 1 pound, 2 pounds, like that. When it is heavier, it will go down and this will go up. But when it is equal weight, both will be balanced and this will go down like this if it is more. So the object, whatever, you're buying vegetables, fruits, potatoes or whatever. When potatoes are more than 1 kg, this will go down. So potatoes will go down and the weight will go up. So like that. It's called Tulabharna. So you do Tulabharna, which is something which you have to give. So in most of the temples in India, there are temples in India where a person sits on one side of the weighing scale. He sits in the weighing scale. And on the other side, sometimes they give gold. Now today people can't afford, suppose a fellow is 100 kgs in weight, 100 kgs of gold somebody has to give on the other side. So they give flowers, they give some ornaments, anything that is there they can give on the other side, or food, anything can be given. So it so happens that Sri Krishna has to be weighed. So Sri Krishna sits on one side of the scale. And on the other side, his wife, who values him so much, she starts putting a lot of gold jewelry over there. So Satyabhama starts putting gold on one side. And she keeps on putting and putting and putting and putting 100 kilos, 500 kilos, 1000 kilos, and Krishna is still heavy. Krishna's side is still down. It's not rising. So her ego is hurt. She says, what am I supposed to do? Krishna is so heavy. At that time, she has to go to his elder wife and she asks her, what is the solution? And his wife says, Sri Krishna's wife says, Rukmini says, the solution is very simple. Take two leaves of tulsi, remove all the gold from the other side and put those two leaves on the other side and Sri Krishna will become light. So she gets two leaves of tulsi and puts it on the other side and then Sri Krishna rises like this. So the leaves are heavy. So here the simple explanation is this, that person should not try to own even Sri Krishna. That there should be no desire whatsoever of ownership. So desires have to be given up. Otherwise your ego is going to get upset. And once your ego is upset, these two knowledges which are there, they will go away from you. One is the knowledge of jnana and the second one is of vijnana. We will be doing this as a chapter in the future, so don't bother about it. So, therefore Arjuna, first control your senses and then kill the evil thing which obstructs jnana. So killing this desire is important. So if you want to progress on the path of spiritual, please give up all kinds of desires. There is no need for you to keep on thinking, I want this, I want this, I want this. Don't bother about it. Why do you want something? Even after want, you are going to get it or not going to get it. You are not even sure about it. If it is written in your destiny, it will anyway come to you. So why bother so much about it? Correct? Right. So we move to the next verse. This is verse 42 from chapter 3 of the Bhagavadgita. The senses are said to be greater than the body, but greater than the senses is the mind. Greater than the mind is the intellect, and what is greater than the intellect is he, the self. This is a gradation. First understand body which you pay so much attention to. Human beings love to praise their body. I am so good, I am this, I am that, I cook so well, I do this very nicely, I dance well, I sing well. People love to praise themselves a lot. And we attribute everything to the body. So he has got beautiful face, she has got a beautiful body, like that. You keep on talking about it. Greater than the body is the mind. Means what? The body has got the senses. Please understand this. Greater than the senses or the body is the mind. If you look at Einstein, he had a great mind. A small joke from Einstein's days or from the days of the past. So there was this great person, and let me not tell you about Einstein, let me tell you about Samuel Johnson. Now you will ask me, who is Samuel Johnson? Samuel Johnson is the person who wrote the first Oxford Dictionary. Okay? He was a very great philosopher. So he used to be called to all the different parties because he was a well-known personality in London. So the Queen also invited him sometimes. So this gentleman, he was very huge, overweight. And he was unmarried. He couldn't marry anybody. So one day, when he is in the party, a beautiful woman approaches him and tells him that, Sir Johnson, we should get married. That means Johnson and this lady should get married. Then we will have beautiful children. It will be my beauty and your beautiful brains. They will have beautiful brains. Sir Johnson looks at her and says, what if it is the other way round? if the children are born with my beauty and your brains. So it's a joke. So I hope you understood. So this is how it works. So the mind is greater than the senses. And greater than the mind is the intellect, the brain. Basically, intellect is the seat of knowledge. So greater than the mind is the intellect. And greater than this intellect is the self. Self is beyond. The self, I have been explaining right from the beginning of this, the moment we started the scriptures, the self is God itself. The soul is the seat of the soul. The self is the I, which is the supreme I. So that is greater than anything. So you first be lost in the self, not be lost in an intellect, a mind, or the senses. This is what he says. And we move to the last verse of this chapter. So we are doing Bhagavadgita chapter 3 verse 43. Thus Arjuna, knowing the self which is higher than the intellect and subduing the mind by reason, killed the enemy in the form of desire that is hard to overcome. So in wrapping up this whole sentences, he says, first and foremost, use the self. The self is the most innermost thing. When you become selfless, you are not going to rely on anything. You see selflessness? You don't rely on anything. You don't rely on the intellect, you don't rely on the mind, you don't rely on the senses, and no desires will come. If you are relying on the senses, your desires are going to be raised. If you think about in the mind, your desires are going to be raised. So your thought process is continue. And if you rely on your intellect, naturally it will give you all the negative thoughts that are going to be there. So Shri Krishna says, why are you so much bothered about all these things? Just rely on the self. Self is God. We have understood this. So why are you having this desire? Some people have the desire, I want money, I want money, I want money, I want money, I want money. Some people say, I want to get married. Some people say, I want children, I want this, I want that. Most of the people, they go to all the demigods. They go to some temple. And in that temple, they will put some chadawa. That means some offering. And they will say to that God over there, please give me this, please, I want to pass in my examination, please, I want to get married, please, I want children, please, I want money, I'm running short of funds, I don't know what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. Till the end of their life, they're all having desires. That God whom you are approaching is not going to give from his pocket. Okay? He is going to pull it out from your own some futuristic karma. And he is going to give you that. And you are always going to be subservient to him. You are going to be that God's servant all your life. So if there is a God in your world, like whosoever, your village goddess or some deity, some person in your life or somebody, and you keep on praying to that person, please give me this, please give me this, please give me. You know what you are going to do finally? If you get that object, then you are going to be the servant of that person forever. Krishna is out of your bounds. He is out beyond. So no knowledge, no jnana and no vijnana. Both these won't even come near you. So you will always be floundering in this world constantly. So why do you want all that? So Shri Krishna says, rely on me which is in you. Rely on me which is in you in the form of a self. Remove all the desires from your mind, intellect and the senses. Erase them. When you erase these desires, I will do what I want to do with you. Shri Krishna inside of us will help you reach the goal and the destination which he wants you to reach. So when Shri Krishna wants something to happen to you, you have to give up all your desires. Shri Krishna is capable of removing and erasing even your karma. Please know this. He is the only one in the entire creation who can, with the snap of the fingers, he can erase your karma, he can erase your sins, he can take care of all your problems. No rebirths. He is the only one who can grant you this. But first allow him to work within you. You got to do what he tells you to do. If he says sit, sit. If he says go and eat, go and eat. If he says write this, write that. If he says go and fight, go and fight. If you use your intellect, if you use your mind, if you use your senses, your body, and oppose him in any manner, and you go to all these small gods and goddesses and temples and this and that and keep on praying to all these things, in the next chapter he is going to tell you about this. If you pray to them, if you are subservient to them, you keep on going to them, you are going to be lost forever. You will be reborn again and again and again and again, because one most important thing happens over here. No jnana, no knowledge, and no vijnana, no supreme knowledge will come to you. Krishna which is within you, you need to follow him. If he says go, go. If he says come, come. Please remember one thing. Shri Krishna knows what is good for you. He is the self within you. He is the divinity within you. And he is not your enemy. Got it? So we come to the end of chapter 3. Thus in the Upanishad sung by the Lord, the science of Brahma, the scriptures of yoga, the dialogue between Shri Krishna and Arjuna, ends the third chapter entitled Karma Yoga, or the Yoga of Action. So now we are going to do further about Karma Yoga in the next chapter.